Welcome back to the Polishing Podcast. My name is Nicco Powerful, otherwise known as Nicco. I am your host for today, and one and only host, actually. Pixelated Apollo, otherwise known as Trent, is out of town, so he cannot be around for this post-E3 podcast. Yes, today's topic is going to be all about E3, what was announced, what wasn't at the show, and what I wish would have been at the show, and what I was excited for, and all that good stuff. So, if you don't know what E3 is, somehow, if you're listening to this podcast and you went, I don't know anything about video games, how? But E3 is the Electronics Entertainment Expo. It started as a trade show for people to show off games, or developers to show off games, so they could potentially get publishers involved in funding said games. And then it slowly became a show where they just showed off the latest stuff that they were working on and people got hype. And yeah, and I don't know when exactly that change happened, but it happened before I was, paying attention to it because there was no way to see or hear about E3 before that. As far as I know. I think the first E3 I ever saw was when Fallout 3 was announced. So that's a while back because Fallout 3 is pretty old at this point, if I'm not mistaken. Let's double check this real quick. This Steam loads up fast enough. Let's see, Fallout 3. Come on. Yep, I'm of age to play Fallout 3. 2008. So that means it probably was announced in either 2006 or 2007. I've been watching E3 for a long time. Holy shit. All right. That was a little bit of too much realness right there. I'm going to be honest. Didn't expect it. Anyway, yeah, this is the Polishing Podcast. We talk about games and whatever else we want. Today is going to be mostly games. Not much else going to be happening here, seeing as how I'm by myself. And yeah, that's about it. Let's get into it. If you are new to the podcast and you're listening on the website, you can also listen to the podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, and Google Play. And if you're listening to it on the Podbean website, there's also a Podbean app that you can take anywhere with you as long as you have a smartphone. So you can use that as well. I still read the comments on the original polishingpodcast.com website because that domain is still up for another year, I think. So you can still leave comments there. If you want to leave comments on the Podbean site, you just click on the episode that you want to comment on, like specifically, and then there is a comment, like an area that you can click on to leave comments there. If I'm not mistaken, I can double check this real quick. Should be pretty easy. Yeah, if you click it, it says comments. To leave or reply comments, please download the free Podbean iOS app or Android app. So you can only leave comments on the app. I was mistaken. But it is possible. But yeah, let's get into E3. First day, sort of, started with EA's press conference and only EA's press conference. Didn't really tune into that. I'm going to be honest. Didn't care about what EA was showing off. The only thing that was kind of interesting to me was Star Wars Jedi The Fallen Order, and from what we saw of the gameplay, it looks a little janky, honestly. It's just like, so it's very clear they're going with a action game, not Dark Souls style because there was no stamina bar to see, but a very I guess Sekiro, the latest FromSoft game, is more appropriate because that game also doesn't have a stamina bar. But they're going for that kind of slower paced action game. But it kind of, the combat, the animations just didn't really look to flow that well into one another, which is what really got me. I don't know. So maybe they could polish it up. Maybe there's just a little bit of, pre-release jank. I don't think it comes out until the very end of this year. So they have, 5 months or something. So hopefully that comes out and it's good because I would like to play a good single-player Star Wars game since that hasn't existed in what feels like a long time at this point. They talked about Apex Legends, which cool. I haven't played it in forever because they haven't added anything in so long. Apparently, what is it? June, what today? 14th. I think tomorrow or something. Or maybe it was July. I don't remember. 15th. They were going to release a new weapon, a new champion or legend, I guess. Duh. And that's cool, but there's one limited time mode that was out from like June, the beginning of June till like now, I think, or something. And we still haven't gone back to play it at all, which is unfortunate because it's the only Battle Royale game I have ever truly enjoyed playing. It just got boring because they weren't updating the game with the content as fast as the other ones are being updated. Hell, even PUBG got more stuff regularly, which is saying something because that game's a mess. They showed off a Sims 4 thing. Don't play The Sims. And then they were like, oh, sorry about Anthem. And it's like, whatever. Anthem's fucking pretty much dead, and it's going to stay dead because they didn't do anything fast enough. Which is, you know, that's if they don't crunch after the game's out, I guess that's what happens. But if you don't know anything about the shit that happened to Anthem before it was finally made, it's like, even though it seemed like they started working on Anthem as soon as Mass Effect 3 ended, technically that's true, but they didn't make any decisions until like a year and a half out, which is why that game seems like a hodgepodge of hot mess. So it's unfortunate because Anthem could have been really cool, but it's a pile of trash. Sunday was when they did Xbox and Microsoft stuff. They were like, ooh, here's Project Scarlet, which is basically got to be the Xbox 2 or whatever the fuck they call it. Because the naming scheme for Xbox makes no sense. It's like Xbox, Xbox 360, Xbox One, Xbox One X. What the fuck is the next thing? Are they just going to call it Xbox Scarlet? Like, what the fuck? Who knows? But that's next year, coming in the end of next year. So, new generation of consoles coming out fall of 2020, which isn't surprising to anybody. I don't really care because I'm on PC mostly. I have a PS4 Pro, so any PS4 games come out, I'll be able to play fine. And then PS5, maybe I'll buy it 2 years into the PlayStation's life cycle or something. I don't know. With the majority of Microsoft games being put on PC anyway, I don't see a reason to get an Xbox almost at all anymore. And they did that even more so with the Game Pass and how they announced that the Game Pass there will be a PC specific pass, and there are different tiers to it, and you can get DLC and like all sorts of shit. So that's cool. But yeah, Scarlet's supposed to be really good, and they're like, we're going to be able to do 120 FPS in games. I'm like, I have a 144 hertz monitor and have been able to do that for months now. I could have done it years, but I didn't get it. I didn't have a monitor to support it. But yeah, if you haven't played a game at that high of a frame rate, you're missing out. Some games don't require it. If you guys are from the Total War scene, it's not that big a deal. You will notice certain things, but it's mostly for like shooters and like more fast-paced games, like action games and stuff, where you would want the higher frame rates. But yeah, so cool. Consoles finally being okay, in my opinion. Stop pushing 4K so much and actually going for high frame rates, which is about goddamn time. Halo Infinite will launch alongside Project Scarlet. Cool. Hopefully Halo's good again, because I heard 5? Yeah, 5, not 6. Infinite is 6. 5 is not great story-wise, and 4 wasn't that great to begin with, from what I remember. Project xCloud streaming service, which apparently was actually good. So from what I heard is someone was playing Halo 5 on a Steam controller, or no, not Steam Link, or maybe it was in an NVIDIA thingy. I forgot what the NVIDIA thing was called, the little streaming thingy, the handheld stream thing. But they were using xCloud, and it was damn near like instant. Like the latency wasn't terrible, which is surprising. Xbox Elite Controller 2, or Elite Controller Series 2, whatever. Fucking Cyberpunk 2077 news, and Keanu Reeves is in it, and he's not a cameo. He's like a whole ass character that is with you like a majority of the game, which people were like, what? When it happened. You've probably seen the memes of people saying breathtaking and all that. Bethesda's conference was easily the most annoying conference of the night, or of the entire show, because they talked about free-to-play mobile games, which are just rife with the worst kind of microtransactions in existence. And people were excited for them, and there was literally no way that anybody anywhere could not believe that those people were being paid to cheer at that kind of garbage, because there's just no way. When people, like when they bring up Fallout 76 and someone is losing their damn mind in a good way, not like, you suck, they're like, wow, yes, then you know something's up, because Fallout 76 has recently apparently gotten better from what I've heard, but I've never seen anyone that excited about it in any respect, even if they were playing it currently and are like, yeah, it's actually pretty decent now. It's usually that kind of response. It's like, hey, this is pretty good now. Not, it's so great. So who the fuck knows if they were actually paid or what, or if it was just Bethesda employees. So it's like, technically you guys are paid to cheer, but not really. But you know, whatever. Fallout 76 got a battle royale mode, which whatever. I mean, it's just a different mode for the game. Fuck it. They probably had fun making it. Some people were shitting all over it, like Fallout's dead. There's no this whatever. I'm like, what? It's a fucking battle royale is not going anywhere as a game mode and a type of way of playing shooters. It has just started. Like, if FPS games have been around since the 80s because of Doom and Wolfenstein, then like the advent of battle royale mode in first person shooters is barely an infant, because it's been around for what, like, I don't know, whenever fucking Minecraft Hunger Games started, for like however many years ago. But in the grand scheme of things, it's like a fucking just started out as a game mode. So whatever, if you are into Fallout and you kind of like battle royale stuff, apparently it's not terrible. So there you go. Wolfenstein Youngblood looks cool, but there was a developer talking about how there's like pay to win mechanics in the game for upgrading weapons and stuff. And then as of yesterday, June 13th is today. Yeah, June 13th on Thursday, the Wolfenstein Twitter account was like, the Reich is putting out propaganda. You cannot pay to win. Like, you cannot buy upgrades to your weapons. You can only buy cosmetics in the game. And I'm just like, there's no way a developer, one of the developers for the game, goes, yeah, I've been playing the game and haven't ever felt like I needed to buy anything in it. Well, yeah, I would hope not. You're a developer. You can cheat anything into the game, because that's how that usually works. But also, how did he like, there's no way that the game, like the interview or whoever he was talking to was that lost in translation. So it seems like people got real pissed real quick, and they decided to not have that thing. Also, why are there cosmetics that you can buy in that game? I don't like games that you pay for and then have microtransactions in them as well. I'm getting tired of it. This predatory practice of making a game cost anywhere between $40 to $60 and then loading it up full of cosmetics that you will never be able to play with unless you buy them as well. Fucking the last time I played a game where I didn't have to buy a bunch of cosmetics was fucking Spider-Man, because the game came with like 20 some odd suits that you could switch into that just were included with the game. Each DLC brought in 3 new suits, and I bought the season pass for the game because I'm a huge Spider-Man nut, so it makes sense. But like the suits they brought in, I didn't even fucking like, which is pretty funny to me, but yeah, weird. Don't like it. So I'm not gonna. I mean, I want to play Youngblood because I like the Wolfenstein games. I think they're really fun, but I'm probably not gonna buy fucking microtransactions in them, and I probably won't buy this one at full price anyway. Nothing against the Wolfenstein games. There are other games that are coming out in the same month that I'm more excited for, but we'll get to that later. There's a game called Deathloop that looks fucking cool. It's from the developers that made Dishonored. And I'm excited to see how that works because it looks like it just from the trailer, the way they set up the two, I don't even know if it's protagonists or protagonist-antagonist, but they're on an island, and anytime they die, they wake up in the same spot, and then they have to try to get further. And I'm like, what kind of game is this, really? So I'm excited to see that. Orion, which is something, I don't know. I tuned out when that happened. But yeah, Doom Eternal. It looks fucking awesome. If you liked 2016's Doom, it looks like Doom Eternal is going to be just that plus more stuff, which is what I wanted from it. So I'm excited for that shit. They had single player stuff, and it was just Doomslayer ripping and tearing. Some people were like, does the Doomslayer go whenever he's hit now? I don't know that I like that. I'm fine with it because in the original Doom, whenever you get hit, your guy's like, ugh. So yeah, I think it's just like a harken back to that. But yeah, and then they showed off multiplayer, which is a 2v1 versus mode where two people get to play as the more powerful demons, like the what the fuck are they called? Oh no, I forgot what the demons they showed off were actually named. It's the one jetpacky, rockety, skelly boy, and then the big old fat Cyclops rocket arms demon, whose names I both forget. But yeah, there's two players playing as that, and then one player plays as the Doomslayer. It looks cool. Honestly, even if it's a little gimmicky, it looks really cool in my opinion. But yeah, that's Bethesda. On to the next thing. The PC Gaming Show. I wasn't actually able to catch most of this, unfortunately, which sucks because I'm mostly a PC gamer. So I don't know why I didn't watch it. But some of the stuff we know about. Halo Master Chief Collection, we know how it's going to be rolled out to PCs. I mean, we've heard about this before, but now we know how much it costs, and people got to play Reach on PC at E3, and apparently it runs really well. Also, Microsoft did stuff on Borderlands 3, which still looks amazing. Borderlands 3 is going to be awesome. But yeah, so Halo Reach is going to be $5. And then every game after that's going to be $10 for a total of $55 for 6 games, all running at 60 FPS plus. Potentially, they're thinking about making it higher than that, but they're like, we're hitting 60, and then anything after that is going to be bonus stuff, which is fine because I've never played Halo at 60 FPS to begin with, so hopefully it feels great. But for everything everyone said, they showed off all of the like settings that are already in the game, like when they were scrolling through, and there's actually a decent amount of settings to like customize your graphics options and all that stuff, which is great. Seems like they're actually taking their time and trying to make the Master Chief Collection for PC a really good experience and not some kind of shitty, half-assed product. Amazing. Of course, they showed off more Doom, but it's not anything that we didn't know already. There's some games that I don't know anything about. One particularly, Zombie Army 4. Don't know anything about this game or any of the games that precede it because it's the fourth in an entry, unfortunately. Baldur's Gate 3, that we kind of learned that Larian, the studio behind Divinity Original Sin 1 and 2, was working on. That should be cool as shit because it's Larian and they make really good in-depth RPGs. Terraria is getting an update called Journey's End, and it's not the last update of the game, which is nuts because Terraria has been out since I was in high school, and it might have been in early access when I was in high school, but the point still stands. Terraria is a $10 game that's been out for 8 years now, at least on Steam, and has gotten way more updates than I thought it ever would. I remember getting the best equipment in the game at the time when I was playing it in high school, and it was like the lava armor or something where you kill the wall of death, And since that was the last thing I did, and since then, apparently there's like a million different things in the game. But yeah, it's getting another update, and it's not the last update. They call it the penultimate update. So yeah, there's going to be another update after that one, and they're still potentially working on Terraria 2. Who knows, honestly. But yeah, wild. Let's see. I'm gonna double check this. Nah, nothing. Okay. Also, wait a minute. Was it the Microsoft show that also talked about the one? What is it? Something. Oh God, it's like something of Tokyo. Shit. Oh, God. I think it was the Microsoft show. Why didn't they say anything about this in this article I'm looking at? Because that was cool as shit. The trailer was cool as shit. We didn't actually get to see gameplay of it. But, like, the presenter was adorable. And, yeah. I forgot the name of the game. It's like Ghost of Tokyo or something. Oh, I forgot. But it looked cool. Just from a trailer standpoint. If they can get if the gameplay conveys the same dread and mystery as the trailer does, it's gonna be a really fucking cool game. And then Shenmue 3 was the last thing they have on here, is the PC gaming show stuff, which is fine. I mean, I don't care about the Shenmue series. I know that's a thing a lot of people care about, but let's see. What else? I figured. Let's see. After the PC gaming show was the Ubisoft show, which is all good and dandy. They showed off Watch Dogs Legion, which is cool in concept. So instead of in Watch Dogs 1 and 2, you had main characters. Watch Dogs Legion, you're basically anybody in all of Britain. Like, at any point in time, there's permadeath. So if the character you're playing dies, they're just gone. And the trailer they showed off, you probably saw, it's an old, angry grandma named Helen, and she's out there trying to bring down Brexit. So yeah, apparently it's set in a near future post-Brexit London where everything is just fucking up. The economy's breaking down. The government's breaking down. There are just police everywhere saying you can't go this way, you can't do that. And this is surprising because Ubisoft's games are actually usually full of not taking any kind of side in any which way for anything political. Like, go look at Far Cry fucking, was it 5, 6, 22? I don't remember the most recent one with the cult leader in not Minnesota. What the fuck? Is it Minnesota? Now I'm trying to remember which fucking state it takes place in. Also, I accidentally launched Battle.net and not fucking Uplay, which is where this game is not installed anymore, but where I own it, so I could actually see which one it is. 5. God, it's so hard to keep track of how many Far Cry games there are. But yeah, in that one, it's like cultists are... Because, spoiler alert for the end of Far Cry 5 and the multiple endings it has, all of them end with the bad guy winning, no matter what, no matter which one you choose. In the beginning, you can choose not to arrest him. Bad guy wins. At the very end, when you have a choice to either walk away or to try to arrest him, he wins. Because even when you arrest him, nukes go off, you run away, try to get to a bunker that could survive said nuking, and crash. He gets out, drags you into the bunker, chains you up, and he's fine. So, not exactly sure what the whole point of that was. The Division doesn't have a stance any which way or the other about anything politically other than everything's gone to shit. We gotta reinstate some kind of control. Like, usually their games walk the median so hard that they're too afraid to say anything in any which direction. So the fact that Watch Dogs Legion is actually like, nah, this is post-Brexit London and you're trying to bring something down, or I don't know, can you bring down Brexit if it's already happened? Whatever. Is just surprising to me. New Division 2 DLC. I mean, it's not new. Like, we knew there was going to be updates to the game. They just were like, hey, you're going to go to a forest and you're going to do this. And there's other, like, you're going to go outside of Washington a little bit. So that's cool. What else? Just Dance games, whatever. They showed off Gods and Monsters from the Assassin's Creed Odyssey team, I think, which is set in ancient Greece, but it's like a cartoony, stylized version of Odyssey, and it's like leaning more into the mythical, and I liked it a lot. No gameplay was shown of it, just a cinematic style trailer to like announce that it was happening, but I thought it looked really cool because I'm noticing more and more that I'm liking games with a stylized art style where it's not super realistic looking, because you can just do more with it. It just feels like you could do more with it. You can be more imaginative. Monsters can look either more horrific or more just, they don't have to look realistic in any way. And I know there are plenty of games that have realistic art styles that look really good and make things seem very imaginative, but something about like a clean, almost like pastel color scheme look very nice and pleasant to the eyes. So I'm excited for that. It'll probably be like rated T or maybe E10 plus or some shit, but that doesn't really matter. Those types of games are like, a rating of a game doesn't mean it's bad or good. So I'm excited for that because it could be really fun, especially since I like Odyssey so much. And that's all I remember from that. Square Enix was the next one. Monday was packed full of shit. Also, if you were wondering where's Sony and all this, they announced like a month or two out that they were not going to be at E3, which was disappointing. But we'll get to that after we talk about the Square Enix stuff. Final Fantasy VII Remake got gameplay shown, has a release date, and people were going nuts. I've never played Final Fantasy VII, or really, I started playing Final Fantasy at 10 and then stopped there too. So I never beat Final Fantasy X, even though I owned it for my PlayStation 2. And not that I didn't like the game. I did at the time. I just never beat it. But I'm not super into Final Fantasy in general. Actually, that's not true. I played and beat Final Fantasy VII, Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII on my PSP, but that's the only Final Fantasy game that I've beaten other than like Tactics Advance. Yeah, that's it. Did I even beat Tactics Advance? I probably did. I played a lot of GBA games when I was growing up. But yeah, people are super excited about that. They're a little skeptical about the fact that the remake is going to be a set of games. This first one is set only in, I think it's pronounced Midgar, which looks like Midgar, like, in Norse mythology and stuff. But it's, from what I've saw, people are pronouncing it Midgar and not Midgar, but whatever. And it's 2 Blu-rays long. So even though people have said in the original Final Fantasy VII, Midgar is like 6 hours long, apparently they expanded a lot upon it because this is going to be much longer than 6 hours if it's across 2 Blu-rays, because Blu-ray can hold a lot of data in it. So the fact that it only takes place in this one section of the original game doesn't mean it's going to be short in any way, shape, or form. But people are skeptical about what's going to happen after that, because it's like, okay, but what about the rest of the story in Final Fantasy VII? And they're like, we don't really know what happens next, because it's like new consoles are coming out. Is Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 going to be on PlayStation 5? So a little skeptical. They showed off Avengers finally, like Marvel's Avengers from Crystal Dynamics. It was announced like 3 years ago. We haven't heard or seen anything from it. It looks, I don't know. Like, the designs of the Avengers themselves are whatever to me, because they're not trying to look like the MCU versions, but they look kind of like knockoff versions of the MCU versions. And it's probably just because everybody has that image in their head of Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr., Chris Hemsworth, Scarlett Johansson, Mark Ruffalo, and that they're using those. So Captain America, Black Widow, Hulk, or Bruce Banner, Tony Stark, Iron Man, and Thor are the 5 Avengers in the game. And those are the 5 that we know from the movies. So people are going, I expect to see this, but then I see this, so I'm confused and I don't like it. Which is fair because that's what most people know. I don't have a problem with it so much. The only thing I have a problem with is Captain America's outfit. I don't understand this like tactical fucking like Kevlar vest with not shoulder pads, but like right underneath where shoulder pads would be, armor. And I'm like, why? He's fucking Captain America. Like, he doesn't need armor. Like, I saw somebody being like, well, I mean, it shows that even though he's a super soldier, he's still kind of a human. I'm like, yeah, but everybody that knows anything about Black Widow from the movies is that she's literally just a person, has no super soldier anything. In the comics, she does have like a Russian knockoff version of the super soldier serum. If we watched Civil War, Captain America Civil War, you know that Bucky was injected with a kind of knockoff Russian version of the super soldier serum. And like the twist of that movie is that you thought it was about a group of like 6 other Buckies that have the same kind of strength and durability as he does, except they don't have a cool cyborg arm. But it's not. But in the comics, that serum is not exactly that specific one, but a type of serum like that is in Natasha, Black Widow. So she's not just run-of-the-mill, I'm just a woman spy. She actually does have strength and durability and speed, and that would be more than a normal human could have. But if they're doing their own thing, A, we don't know that, and B, everyone assumes by the fact that all of these characters look like the characters we know that she isn't anything but just a spy, because that's what the MCU version of her is. She doesn't have any super anything about her other than super spy, but that doesn't make her strong, fast, whatever. It's one of the reasons people are like, Hawkeye and Black Widow are just people next to basically gods on their team, when one of them is a literal god in Thor. So it's kind of funny that somebody was like, yeah, but Captain America looks like this in the game, and it makes it seem like he's more of a militaristic, not just gonna get shot and die person. I'm like, yeah, but we don't know anything about Black Widow, and she's just in her black leather onesie. We don't know if she's more like her comic book counterpart, where she's got the Russian knockoff super soldier serum, or if she's more MCU version, where she's just a spy for some reason on this team that doesn't do a whole lot of spying. Does a lot more ass kicking. So it's strange. I don't like the way Captain America looks. Their faces or whatever, I don't have a problem with that, because I knew they weren't going to be the MCU versions of the characters from the jump. It's just like the Spider-Man game, where that version wasn't Tom Holland or Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield. So I'm fine with that. I just don't like the fact that Captain America's tactical look is also very muted and dark. Like he looks like he's wearing black with like this weird like a washed out red and white stripes. It's like they went, hey, if what is their name? Shit. The company that made Spider-Man for PS4 can make a new suit for Spider-Man. We should be able to make a new suit for Cap. And it's like, yeah, but they at least made theirs look cool. Like, I never had a problem with the white spider suit that they gave Spider-Man and like the Spider-Man game. I always thought that was a really cool update on his original suit. And in that game, you can use the original suit. And they said that they're going to have costumes that you can unlock and or buy. And they're going to be new heroes they're adding all the time in the Avengers game and stuff. But from what we saw, it looks kind of eh. And from people's impressions behind closed doors, the combat also looks kind of janky and clunky, which does not bode well since it comes out like in 11 months or something. that you can do a lot in 11 months. A lot of people seem to think that just like there's only a year out, they can't fix that. It's like from watching the God of War documentary of the PS4 God of War, and they were like 2 months out, and they were like, we're gonna have to delay the game to fix bugs. And then they were like, we're going gold, and it was like 3 weeks away from when they needed to ship. Like, and they were still working on the game. I think they can do a lot in 11 months. So hopefully, just like Jedi The Fallen Order, they could fix it up. I think maybe they shouldn't have shown Star Wars Jedi The Fallen Order because the combat just looked janky. Something about it looked clunky. Though that has even less time, but even still, I think it's like in October or something like that. 4 or so months. And you can do a lot in 4 months too. So hopefully you can do something, unless it's mocapped. If that's the case, then it's going to be janky no matter what, in my opinion. But yeah, there are other games from Square Enix that I don't remember. A whole bunch of like remakes and not remakes, but remasters of old JRPGs, because Square Enix recently was like, we're going to bring every JRPG and transfer it to digital so people can play them nowadays, which is cool. I just don't care about most of them, unfortunately, because I wasn't around to play those games because I was too young. But yeah, those are the big things from Square Enix. Nintendo was the next day, and boy howdy, was there some stuff in the Nintendo stuff. They announced a new Legend of Zelda. It's a direct sequel to Breath of the Wild. It looks darker and creepier than Breath of the Wild. So it's like, and the director or one of the developers or someone on the team was like, yeah, it's slightly darker than Majora's Mask. So yay. I mean, that could be cool. Animal Crossing was announced and I guess technically delayed to 2020. There was no release date on an Animal Crossing game for the Switch, so I'm surprised people are saying it was delayed. I mean, Nintendo is saying it was delayed, but whatever. Announced for 2020. People who love Animal Crossing are fucking hype. Also a little sad because it's not coming out this year, but hype is shit. There's a Luigi's Mansion 3, which gave us Gooigi, which was weird. It's just a goo version of Luigi. What else? There was Marvel's Ultimate Alliance 3, the Black Order. Black Order? I think it's the Black Order, which looks cool as hell. Looks like a great co-op game. Since Allie and I have been playing like Diablo 3 together, it comes out next month, like July 15th or something, so literally in a month. And I'm excited to play that with Allie, so that should be fun because we were both comic book superhero nerds. Is there anything else? Oh, obviously Pokemon Sword and Shield look really cool. There's a fucking overworld, or what do they call it? Open field or something area where you're like running around. It's in third person. You have control of the camera, and it looks like it's finally a 3D Pokemon game that I have thought about and wanted since I played Pokemon Coliseum on the N64. I saw that and I was like, this is what I've wanted forever. Since fucking Pokemon Coliseum. This is what I've wanted. An open world, real 3D Pokemon game. And I was like, I still don't understand why we didn't get it sooner, but it's finally happening and it's coming out the end of this year and I'm excited as hell because I don't care if it's going to be super easy. I don't care about the whole national Dex, something Pokedex, internet. I don't remember what it's called, but basically there was a thing where you could transfer Pokemon from every game into the next game if you have a team that you're already ready to rock and roll with. I don't care about that, so it doesn't bother me. I'm excited to play the new Pokemon game on my fucking TV, and I can't wait. So yeah. Is there anything else from Nintendo I gave a crap about? I don't think so, honestly. There might be, so I'm gonna do a little bit of searching, but I don't know for sure. Let's see. Nintendo, yeah, Luigi. Oh, Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. People are really excited about that. It's a remake of that Legend of Zelda game. Super Smash Brothers Ultimate got an announcement for basically every hero or a lot of the heroes from Dragon Quest in the game as one of DLC fighter packs, and Banjo-Kazooie to the roster later this year. So people were really hype about that. Let's see. Don't care. There's at Ubisoft, I forgot about this, Rainbow Six Quarantine, which is a PvE version of Rainbow Six Siege that is along the lines of the Outbreak event they had late last 2018, around Halloween of 2018. It's basically an entire game like that. So we'll see how that goes. They showed off more Ghost Recon Breakpoint. That was announced before E3. There was a mobile game, whatever. What else? Xbox, Project Scarlet. Yeah. Oh, Elden Ring. Forgot about that. Fucking the Miyazaki and George R.R. Martin collab game that has nothing to do with the Song of Ice and Fire series. Nothing Game of Thrones related whatsoever. It's just they work together to create a world, and it's an open world ARPG that's more in line with, like, they came out and said it's more in line with Dark Souls and Sekiro, so it's more RPG than action game, which is cool. I'm excited to see that. More Outer World stuff. I'm excited for that. It's basically New Vegas in space, which is fucking awesome because Fallout New Vegas is my favorite of the most recent Fallout games. I don't know that I like the story as much, but it was the most fun to play. That's for sure. Minecraft Dungeons. Forgot about that because it wasn't a huge thing. It's an ARPG version of Minecraft, and most people were calling it Minecraft Diablo, and I was like, fuck it. It looks fun, so why not? It's just Gears 5. That's, still a thing. Cool. Let's see. Yeah. Why is anybody saying Half-Life 3? We knew there was no Half-Life 3. Bethesda came out and was like, hey, we're working on Starfield and the sequel to Skyrim. That's about it. And then, yeah, I don't know if there's anything else. I'm still looking through some websites to make sure that I didn't miss anything, like, super cool. Ghostwire Tokyo. Wait, is that the right one? Is that a different game? Now I'm forgetting. Is that from Bethesda? Oh, God. I don't remember. Screw it. But yeah, I think that's everything that I remember and saw and care about from these things. There are a bunch of announcements that look cool that I don't remember. I know people are really excited for Phantasy Star Online 2 that has been out in Japan and the East for a couple of years now. It's finally being brought over to North America and the West on Xbox and PC. Sometime next year, and potentially other consoles later. The thing is, Sony wasn't at E3 at all, which sucks because they had a bunch of cool exclusives they showed off last year that we don't know anything about this year because they weren't there. Being Ghost of Tsushima, which was the samurai game that looked really fucking cool. It looked really pretty. I'm always surprised by how good PS4 developers that are developing primarily for the PS4 are able to make their games, how good they're able to make it. It's just nuts. But yeah, that we got nothing since Sony weren't there. Last of Us Part 2 is nothing. We know nothing else about either one of those. So yeah, kind of sucks. We learned stuff about Death Stranding before E3. Let's see. Is there anything else cool from looking at just a list of games that were announced? Death Stranding, whatever. There's a Contra game, Dragon Quest Builders, Crossfire X, which is a free-to-play game. I don't know what the hell's going on there. No More Heroes 3. People like that. That was on Switch. It's been Alliance 3. Astral Chain is a game developed by Platinum Games, which they helped make Nier Automata or Automata. I don't know how to pronounce that. Bayonetta. I think. What's that one game? Oh God, I don't remember. But yeah, it's a cool looking action game. So hopefully that's good. The Witcher 3 got announced for Switch, which is said to be in 720p in docked modes on your TV and 540p on portable mode, and it has dynamic resolution, so it's going in and out of different graphical settings to make sure it still runs well. It probably isn't going to look great, but for people who want to take Witcher 3 anywhere, cool. But yeah, and it comes with everything. It's every story expansion, all the free DLC. I mean, if you've never played The Witcher 3 and you're like, hey, all I have is a Switch, then yeah, probably get it. I mean, we'll find out more once it's out how well it runs and if it's actually worth it. But if you cannot play it in any other way, shape, or form, then yeah. Fire Emblem stuff. Yep. Outriders. I mean, there's some games that are literally like, here's a trailer, no gameplay, no nothing, not even a hint of the developer telling you what about the game in any way, shape, or form is about. So like, there's a bunch of stuff like that where I'm like, okay, we can't get anything off of it from that. So what's the point? So there's some things I'm not going to mention from that alone. I don't know what that is. Doesn't matter. Yeah, got some monsters. Battletoads, which is coming. Like, it's got a release date. Did it say have a release date? No release date, but they showed off gameplay. Psychonauts 2, people are excited about that. Tales of Arise, which is another Tales of game, like Tales of Berseria, Tales of I forgot the other ones, but the JRPG series that people really like. People are excited for that. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, they showed off gameplay, which is cool because there was only the cinematic trailers before that. Chivalry 2 got announced. Looks a lot like Mordhau. So who knows whether or not Chivalry 2 will be decent. It probably won't do well, honestly. Chivalry got abandoned by its developers with a bunch of not game-breaking bugs, but there are a lot of exploits on how you swing your weapon that people take advantage of in that game that if you're new, you don't even know how to do anything about. Which is why the lead developer in Chivalry acts like, it seems pretty silly when like you see the story, but it also seems pretty shitty of the person that took over the company from him. When he got fired, he decided to make. I'm pretty sure he's the lead developer on Mordhau, and now the developers that took over Chivalry are now doing Chivalry 2. I think. I don't know, because it sounded like the people who made Chivalry made the one Middle Eastern hero melee combat game that I don't remember the name of, and then that company shut down because that game wasn't successful. I don't know who's making Chivalry 2, honestly, but it's going to be on Epic Game Store first for a year, and so I think it's going to be DOA, especially with how people know from Chivalry that there are exploits and shit in the game, and from playing Mordhau, even a small amount as I have, and from against people who are much better than me at it, the most exploitable thing there is really is people using a rapier and stabbing fast. That's not really an exploit. That's just how that weapon works, and if you don't know how to fight it, it's frustrating as shit. And that's it. So I don't expect Chivalry 2 to do well. But who knows? It could be better than Mordhau. It looks fucking exactly the same, so who the hell knows? It's just, Wolfenstein. There's a Dragon Ball Z, not open world, but kind of open world game. I don't know. Could be cool. Probably won't be. Oh, it is Ghostwire Tokyo, the one game that came out, and it was like, ooh, this is cool. The Gear 5, Borderlands 3, Elden Ring. It's a Blair Witch game that looked exactly like, I thought it was a, oh no, I can't remember the name of the series. Oh no, Outlast. Is that the right one? Let me double check. Yes, it looked like an Outlast sequel. I thought it was going to be Outlast 3, but no, it's the Blair Witch, the video game. So cool, I guess, if you're into that stuff. I'm not. FIFA, Madden, duh. Like, this stuff is obvious. But yeah, so that's all the stuff that I saw. So that's cool. But yeah, E3 is done. There were no surprise announcements. Unfortunately, there were no... I heard that the developers of Bannerlord... What do they call... What's their name? Real quick. Come on, Warband. Band. Who are you guys? Tail Worlds Entertainment. I heard they were supposed to be at E3 with Bannerlord in some way, shape, or form, but there were no big announcements about it. I don't know how niche Bannerlord is, though. Seeing as how I work with Pixelated Apollo. He plays Warband, all that stuff. I'm closer to the Warband community than most people are. I mean, like most mainstream gamers are. And from what I've seen, it seems like it's pretty big, but I don't know how big it actually is. I'm going to double check if there's any Bannerlord news at all. So far, it looks like no, there was nothing. It seems like there was a article on PC Gamer from May 2nd of this year, so last month. And yeah, there's nothing new in this article. It's like the article title is Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord, Everything We Know, and the URL says Mountain Blade 2 release date for that extra clickbaitiness, but it says there is no release date and there's going to be a beta. So who knows? So yeah, nothing new other than they're going to be at Gamescom. If you go to Gamescom in Germany, you can play Captain Mode or 6v6 skirmishes. I don't know what Captain Mode is, though. But yeah, so there's that. The 6v6 mode I know is a new announcement as of a couple months ago. So hopefully we get more announcements. Maybe beta release date, maybe early access release date. Who knows for Bannerlord at Gamescom. A lot of games that were announced but not shown, like gameplay-wise and stuff, at E3 will probably have gameplay demos and announce like actual gameplay trailers at Gamescom in the next couple of months. So that's nice. But yeah, that's everything for E3. There is one announcement that happened before, or like a couple announcements from THQ Nordic that happened before E3 that I'm excited for. Destroy All Humans remake, just a complete remake of the game from like graphics and a certain gameplay elements. Looks really fucking cool because Destroy All Humans is one of my favorite games growing up. A lot of people keep saying 2 is like the best out of the couple that I think 3 that came out. I don't remember 2 that well. I remember 1 a lot because I remember specifically like the tutorial mission where you're on the farm and you like kill the cows and then you kill the farmers and then you kill the cops and then you kill the military, and then past the tutorial mission you go to like a hoedown and you have to kidnap an actress from it. And like I remember a lot of very specific things about the first game. The second game, I kind of only remember Crypto having balls. That's about it. Because he has the package, as it's referred to in the game. And it has a lot more to do with the Russians being involved, like specifically the KGB trying to stop the Furon Empire from taking over America because they think it's going to interfere with the KGB, which it makes sense that it would, because, you know, if they're going to take over the entire planet, then yeah, it would interfere with that. I'm excited for that. They showed off a pretty decent like amount of gameplay from the trailer level, where you can actually do multiple things now. In the original game, whenever you use something like psychokinesis, which is just like your telekinesis, like picking up people and throwing them and stuff like that, that's all you could do. But in this one, apparently you can pick someone up, try to overload someone's brain to pop out their brainstem, and shoot someone all at the same time, which is not anything you could have done before. So it's cool that they did that. Some people are saying that they not messed up, but you used to be able to control, I don't remember this that well, your psychokinesis to where you could like pull people in and out and like swipe them to the left and right really quickly. And because they make it to where you can multitask now, you can no longer like do specific small movements while you're holding somebody. I don't know if that's true or if it was just something somebody was saying from watching the gameplay. I didn't see that from anybody, from a commenter watching the gameplay, not a journalist or whatever watching gameplay. So who knows? Maybe they got rid of that, which would kind of suck. But also, if that means I can shoot somebody while holding someone else and then throw one person at another while zapping someone else, that's fine in my opinion. So I'm excited for that. And then there was Darksiders Genesis, which is a spin-off of the Darksiders series that's a top-down, almost twin-stick shooter, unless you're playing as War, but it's a co-op game that stars Strife and War, and it looks cool. And like I said, since Allie and I have been playing a lot of like Diablo 3 co-op kind of stuff, it looks like a game that we could have fun with. So I'm excited for that just because it's another game I might be able to play with my wife. But yeah, that's about it for everything I'm excited for. It's too bad Trent isn't here, but even if he was, he'd just be like, I wanted Bannerlord news. And that's it. So like, boo-hoo. But yeah, that's everything. If you guys are excited for anything, leave it in the comments. It'd be cool to hear what you guys may or may not have liked from the E3 if you watched or just read up on it later on. Is there anything you wish you would have learned more about? I know a lot of you are going to probably say Bannerlord. Same, because then I don't have to hear about everybody wanting to hear about it. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed listening to this podcast. I am Nicco, otherwise known as Nicco Powerful. You can follow me on Twitch if you want. I streamed yesterday, not streaming today as of recording this because I'm recording the podcast. But yeah, YouTube, this podcast also goes up on YouTube just automatically. I don't post anything else there. Twitter, at Nicco Powerful, Nicco Powerful. Yeah, that's about it for me. Trent, Pixelated Apollo, YouTube, Twitter. That's it. There's no Josephine's Corner. I'm not doing that bit again. Not pretending to call him on a satellite phone. Not that it took a long time. I just don't feel like doing it. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Very in-depth E3 talk. I mean, maybe not in-depth, but a lot of E3 stuff about what I cared about and all that stuff, good stuff. But yeah, hope you liked it. And next time we see you, hopefully it'll be the both of us. Hope we have a great rest of your day, evening, morning, whenever you're listening. And God bless. Stay clean, stay polished.